So, as promised, I'm here with Kathleen, Lisson,
Hi.
and my new friend. And we're going to talk to you about Fast and Go. So, I came all the way down from San Diego to hang out with you and talk about Fast and Go. And guess who forgot their Fast and Go? It's at home in LA. Anyway, I've shown you videos. You know what it looks like. You've seen posts. You've seen it all over the place. So, we're just going to talk about it and not show you today. So, you as a therapist, you've done multi-layer compression bandages. You understand the principle of reduction and all of that. So what do you know about Fast and Go, and do you have questions?
Mm-hmm. So I have seen Fast and Go in action. I've seen it at the conferences that we attend. But what I'm really interested in is the actual patient experience. And Peggy is such a great example because it has long-standing lymphedema. You don't have stage 1 lymphedema, and you have a very busy career that you are on your feet, you are in the car, you are walking around, you're bending, you're taking photographs, and I would really love to hear from you where you have Fast and Go in your, like Karen Ashforth says, a capsule wardrobe of compression, and Fast and Go is one tool in that wardrobe that helps you keep your lymphedema under control.
So if you've watched my videos, you know that I'm currently in a little flare-up we're dealing with. And so when I got Fast and Go, I really got it thinking I would just use it for night. Because that's normally when I would use multi-layer compression garments. I shared this with Amy, and I know you know this. I kind of have some like emotional triggers with the multi-layer compression garments because I would say like 13 years ago, I was wearing those 24/7 for like 6 months. And then for 3 years after that, I slept in them every single night. At that time, the lymphedema was only in my left leg. It hadn't moved to my abdomen or my right leg, but every single night. And I had a machine where I could wrap my bandages with tension. And the whole process of wrapping and unwrapping in the morning and wrapping and unwrapping at night was, you know, an extra 2 hours of my day just putting bandages on. And it was I didn't think of it at the time as traumatizing, but now every time I need to go bandage, I'm like literally feel this anxiety. And we were just talking about stress, and like these are things that you look crazy, you know, you just do, and you're walking around and everybody's staring at you, and but it is used to reduce, and it is effective. So I got the Fast and Go, and I was like, okay, let's see. Like, I see Amy out there lifting weights and doing all these running marathons and doing this crazy stuff, and I'm not that person. Like, you're not going to find me at the gym. Like, I am active. You'll find me on a rebounder. You'll find me walking my dog, but you're not going to find me because I've had different experiences with being too athletic where it's caused more swelling and more issues. So I have to really, really moderate what kind of activities I do. So I put this on, and I was like, okay, Amy can go out there doing jumping jacks and running marathons. Like, I'm going to put this on in the morning. I'm going to be home today. So, you know, I'm going to wear it during the day. And I mean, 2 hours, it was like baggy and falling off. And I was like, oh, this is nothing. Like, I was irritated, right? So I take it off, and I was like, oh, wait. My knee, which had been huge, my knee was like, I was like, oh, the bandage didn't get loose and fall off. My knee reduced. And therefore, and I was like, oh, wait, whoa, okay. And you know, it's 2 parts because it goes up my whole leg, and you just roll it. You don't have to like put the pressure on it or anything, because as you unroll it, it's sewn into where it goes to the right place. So it's so easy. You still have to roll it. I'm not going to lie. It's not like nothing, but it's not like rolling
the
6 big bandages with tension, and like that takes so much time. This takes minutes, not a half hour to do. And and so I put that back on, and all day, like it stayed on all day. And we have stairs in our house, and according to my watch, I do a lot of flights of stairs. Like, oh shoot, I forgot this upstairs, or I need to go to the bathroom, or whatever. I'll be up and down all day, and it stayed on all day long. And I took it off at night just because, it's what I do. And I looked at my leg, and I was like, this, and it felt so good. That, when you're losing all that pressure, it just feels so good. I know some of you are like, yeah, I know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it just like, and I was like, no, I'm going to go ahead and sleep in it. And so I put it back on to sleep in. And I'm not super good at sleeping. Like, sleeping's not like something I'm naturally good at. And I slept in it for probably like 4 hours before I woke up. And I was like, okay. And I'm also like, I'm in my night sweats phase of my womanhood.
Yep, me too. Yep.
And so I was like, okay, I got to get this off me now. But
how quick was it to take it off?
Really quick.
Versus
oh my
stretch
gosh,
bandage to try to get one off if you're having a hot
because you're
flash.
going 3 layers.
Yeah.
And then your foam, and then your protective layer. Like, it came right off. I threw it on a puddle, like by the bed. It was in a pile. I went back to sleep, and in the morning, I was like, oh, and I rolled it back up, and I was like, all right, look at this. Yeah. And I've washed it several times now, and I just put it in a garment bag. I mean, I wash my garments in a bag. I feel like if you didn't put it in a bag, it would like go crazy because it's a bandage, and it would like tie in knots around your clothes. So I would highly recommend a garment bag. Yeah. But it washed and dried, and I mean, it's white, so you can see where I walk. Clearly, I don't keep my floors as clean as I thought I did. Yeah. Until after the day of walking around mopping my floor. Yeah. But it was. And
so probably you would put a sock over it in the future?
Well,
but now
it's dark. I mean, I probably wouldn't.
Or just take one for the team.
Yeah, I would just take
realize
one.
It's like this
is what it looks like. I think I'm that person. You might put a sock on because you're a better person than I am, but me, I'm like, okay. So my foot's dirty, it happens.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's really, and again, I'm not out there going to the gym or running marathons, but I am up and down and sitting at the computer, when I'm working. When I work, I sit a lot, and that's not great for lymphedema. Yeah. And I have my rebounder, my timer that says, hey, you've been sitting at the computer too long. Why don't you bounce on your rebounder for a minute? Yeah. And really the only time that it slipped or felt uncomfortable was that initial, getting that knee reduced. Because the knee, it was to the point where I couldn't hardly get my garment. Like, I probably shouldn't have been wearing my garment because it was too tight.
Too tight, yeah.
And that it just went right down. And I've been wearing it mainly on my left leg because that is the worst. But I've also worn it sometimes on my right leg. I haven't gone to get the second set yet, but I can see. And I don't have, back when I was doing this, I had jeans where I literally cut the leg out, my left leg out. But I've just been wearing skirts, and I have one pair of like sandals that I can open all the way up and put over my foot. Yeah. If I decide that I'm going to wear this out in my day, I would probably go buy another pair of shoes that would fit the bulk of that. But right now I'm just using, and I've been using the what's it called, the Juzo, the foam like wrap with the
soft.
Yeah,
soft compress or something.
Soft compress, Juzo soft compress, and it's like foam, but it's got the ridges in it.
Yeah, I like that.
So
stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I've been using that. So if I didn't use that, but I have a lot of swelling in my foot and in my ankles, so I'm wanting to reduce in those areas. So I'm putting the foam in it. I find that putting the foam layer does make it reduce a lot better than just you can wear it with but I would highly recommend some sort of a foam in there, whether it's just regular foam. There's another foam that you use for reduction. What do you
Mobiderm?
use? Yeah, Mobiderm.
Yeah. So that would be, so you would have the skin and then the Mobiderm and the soft compress, and then you put the Fast and Go over it. Yeah. And then how long does it take from you have all the things here to it's on your leg and you're in the next?
Minutes. It's minutes.
Yeah.
It's minutes. I've been really swollen and I've been having a lot of pain in my joints and everything. So I'm on the floor because that's where I can reach my foot. I can't sit like this and bring my foot up to me right now.
Yeah.
I'm not there right now.
Yeah.
So I'm on the floor, and I wrap, and I just the top of the foam I just tuck under my leg, under itself at the top of my leg, and then I go. It has a cute little. I mean, they thought of everything. Like, that's what I love about the Fast and Go is, like, there's all the little touches to it.
Yeah.
The expander, like, goes under here and the clasp is here, so it doesn't touch you ever. It's not going to, even if you're not wearing foam, that extender clasp is not going to touch you.
Yeah.
And it goes under, and then you put the second roll on, and then this Velcro, you've touched it, you've seen it so it's Velcro, but it doesn't stick to anything unless you stretch it, and it sticks to itself.
Think smarter, not harder.
Because, Velcro on your leg doesn't feel great.
We would
and
not
Velcro to your clothes, like you're ripping your clothes.
Yeah,
No, it doesn't do that. I can sleep in it at night, and it's not, my other leg isn't like wake up all red and inflamed because the Velcro is
rubbing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
No, it's perfect. So I like all those little touches of like caring, like thinking. Just sometimes it's like you have a product and you're like, did they use this on a human? Like, did they ever think about anything? And these guys really did. They thought of everything. So
that's good.
I think that's to me one of the things that I really like about it. So super fast to get. I've never timed it, but honestly, it's like as long as it would just take you and it's got the mark on it, so you don't even have to think if you're in the right place. There's a little black cord, and you just, as you're wrapping it, you go up the half, and it's marked.
Super.
So, and I do it just like I would the short stretch. I pull on the bottom and, bring it over, and I think it's much easier. I'm not going to say that I'm not emotionally triggered at all by it, but it's much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the results are, I would say I didn't use the multi-layer right before, but I would say very similar results.
Yeah.
And the testing that they have, it's similar or better results for a person, because a trained therapist putting it on versus me putting it on myself, in theory, you're going to get better results than I am, because you're trained and you're able to look over where I'm like leaned over doing it myself.
Yeah.
And so I think the results consistently on a person doing it for themselves are much higher results, because you're going to get that one easy, quick. You're not like, okay, which direction I go? I got to go this direction. I got to go this direction. And, all the things that go into it. So,
yeah. Well, the famous thing that I like to say is, like, the compression, even the ideal compression is not going to work if it's folded up in your drawer. So if you know that, like, 4 sets of short stretch bandages are going to be the best solution, but for a multitude of reasons, those bandages are never coming out of the box, then this is the ideal solution for you, the solution that you will actually be able to do, that you will be able to confidently do. And I think it's genius that if it gets loose, then it's not an hour long, because that's the thing that when I read these messages on Facebook that breaks my heart, which is someone wrapped me up. It's either too tight and I had to take it off, or it's too loose and it fell off, and now I don't have anything anymore. And if you're on your way to in the lymphedema journey, and you've already done the short stretch bandaging with the professional, and this is your at-home care, I think this is definitely something, because it was also very interesting that I heard from when you told us you were having a flare-up and the knee was almost too big, that you felt like maybe it wasn't safe to put your compression on.
It was painful, and I feel like I was like, if Kathleen saw me, this is how I base my life. What would Kathleen say? I was like, if Kathleen saw me, she would be like, well, what are you doing wearing compression on that knee? Your compression is, and that got that knee back down to where I felt like I could safely wear my compression, and I wasn't like binding and, causing damage, because you can cause damage, and it's you should have a compression garment that fits you.
Yeah. But you get one compression garment measurement every 6 months, and your body is not going to be the same. You're going to have a flare, and I really like this as an option that is in your toolbox, in your drawer, that if you have a flare, you can control that flare. You can get back down to where you can use some of your other compression.
Yeah.
And if you want to work on your lymphedema and add the Mobiderm, add the Juzo Soft, add whatever you have that your lymphedema therapist says would be a good idea. Maybe work on some fibrosis with some textured foams underneath it. I think it's a great addition to that capsule wardrobe of compression for someone who has lymphedema.
Absolutely. I'm loving it. There's nothing that I don't like about it other than it's a wrap. Like, you know, other than I have lymphedema and I need it. That's the only thing I don't like about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Is that you have lymphedema?
It's that I have lymphedema and it's a lymphedema garment. So, I mean, that's the only downside. And until, you know, if you have lymphedema, whether you want to admit it or not, you need to take care of yourself because you are the only one that's responsible. We've made leaps and bounds in the medical field and leaps and bounds in therapy, but bottom line, it's on you. And this is a tool that's easy, so much easier. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yay.
Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing your experience with us.
Thanks for bringing your expertise.
Yes. Thank you.